Before we do anything, I'm gonna buy items.
Ugh, every minute we spend here, things are getting worse for the miners. Stay calm, Elisa.
Yeah, the Railway Military Police are on their way, after all.
Let's at least try and get a look at what's going on.
Man, if terrorists really were planning to blow up the mine, it would shake the very... Come at me!
Okay. Time to retreat. Jerks.
Here we go! Retreat! It didn't work.
Alright! Let's get at it later! Looks like a tough one. Watch out!
Yeah, they tapped it. Big time, too.
Well, to start with, we need to work out exactly what's going on here.
If it's true that the terrorists are working with the Noble faction, then it seems likely their aim is to eliminate the evidence of whatever they've been hiding in the first factory.
But did they really have to go this far? The Iron Mine is owned by His Majesty the Emperor himself.
That's right. The province of Nortia is tasked with managing it while Reinford mines, refines, and processes the iron. And iron is the single most vital natural resource to this nation's continued survival. If this isn't resolved quickly, it's going to deal a heavy blow to the entire country, including the nobles themselves.
So I guess the question is just whether the Noble faction and the terrorists realize that or not. Sounds to me like they're a pretty divided bunch as it is.
Yep. The terrorists seem like they're basically all commoners, too. They're only cooperating because they both see the Chancellor as a common enemy.
And if that's the case, it seems pretty likely that what they're doing here is related to that somehow.
Sounds like someone started the party without me.
Angelica?
You came too, George?
Yo, figured you'd show up eventually.
Well, we had to test the site.
Bike is just full of surprises. We made the trip to Ruhr in 7 hours. So speed-wise, we're looking great. Comfort, though, we're gonna have to tweak a few things. I swear, you two never change. Kinda figured Toho wouldn't be able to make it, too.
Yeah, she's working on gathering a boatload of information, though. She said she'd be in touch if she finds anything out.
That's reassuring, at least.
Could someone tell me what's going on?
You seem to be hot on the trail of something, but I'm not sure it's the same thing we're investigating.
Does this have something to do with those family affairs you told me you were worried about?
Yeah, it does. I had some nagging suspicions about it. Unfortunately, my hunch turned out to be right on the money.
Hold on. Isn't the director of the first...
My dear Uncle Heidel Rogner. Yeah. Seems like it might do us both some good to swap info. How about it?
Let's find a better place to talk.
They're dumping iron onto the black market?
Yeah. The amount of steel they're producing doesn't quite match up with the amount of iron ore being mined. That's been the case for quite a few years now.
Officially, the reason given is that the purity of the ore being mined is lower now than it used to be. But if you look at what's coming out of the mine, there's no evidence of that.
Well, that would explain why the figures don't add up.
And because they were feeding the raw iron onto the black market rather than the finished steel.
That makes it a lot harder to notice when a little goes missing here and there.
Man, Toa put all the pieces together on her own?
I'd expect no less from my beloved Toa.
She poured over everything. Reinford's yearly sales figures, government reports on the mine's productivity. You name it. That's how she picked up on the discrepancy.
She's really something else.
Iron ore being sold off the black market. Accounting sheets that don't add up. George, how much iron ore is unaccounted for, roughly speaking? Do you know? Assuming for a moment that all the missing iron was refined into steel, how much steel would we be looking?
This is just a bit of speculative math on my part, but I'd say somewhere in the neighborhood of 100,000 Torum, which is enough to build 2,000 oxen tanks.
2,000?
That's practically an army.
The Saxon iron mine is a pillar of the Empire's economy. The amount of iron they pull out of there is almost ridiculous. Even if you pocket a small amount every year, it's going to add up to a lot of iron real big.
What are they planning to do? Is the Noble faction trying to make their own tanks in secret?
They couldn't even if they wanted to. Only the second factory has the knowledge and equipment to make tanks. And not only does the second factory have close ties with the Imperial Army, it also leans toward the reformist faction.
You need all kinds of complicated technology to make even a basic tank. It's not as simple as just grabbing some steel, some blueprints, and some grease and getting to work. So what does that leave them? Selling the iron to another country for profit? I don't know how likely that is. Seems like deals that big would be too easy to try.
Okay, so setting aside the ore itself for a moment, now that you know this, and given what's happening in Ruhr right now, what were the two of you planning?
Oh, it's pretty simple. My uncle oversees the first factory, and the provincial army is blockading the mine. There's no way my family isn't involved. On the other side, you've got all the miners just trying to do their jobs who got dragged into this whole mess. I'm a Rogner. I might not be a great daughter, but there's no way I'm gonna let this go on without putting up a fight.
Angie, Whoa, whoa, whoa. You're seriously gonna go talk to your old man about this?
Hell no. Like he'd even listen to a word I said. Same goes for the Provincial Army. I'd just be wasting my breath. That's why I'm planning on sorting out this mess myself. I used to work part-time in the mine. I know the place like the back of my hand. As long as I can find my way inside, I think I can handle the terrorists well enough.
I figured you'd say something. Honestly, does nothing faze you?
In that case, I'd like to ask that you take us along.
We can look at this as a test of how to best respond to a sudden crisis. Looking at it from that perspective, I think it fits neatly within the scope of our field study. You?
Yeah, after hearing all that, I don't want to let them have their way.
Agreed.
I'm with Angelica here. My family's involved in this too. I feel like I have a duty to do something about it.
Thanks. Truth be told, I was kind of hoping you'd back me up anyway. Whatever help you can give, I'll...
Well, that's that. The next thing we need to consider is how to slip into the mine without the Provincial Army taking note of it. At the very least, Angie should be able to get the officer in charge to talk with her.
So, what, we sneak inside while she's distracting them?
I don't know. That sounds a little overly simplistic to work.
Leave finding our way in to me. If anyone's good at cutting red tape, it's my mother. Maybe she could help us out.
She could.
Well, if you think so.
Alright, I'll leave securing an alternate route to you then. For now, I'm gonna see if I can find out anything else about my family's or the Provincial Army's involvement here. George, give Toa a call and see if you can find out what the Imperial government is doing about all this.
Gotcha. I'll see if I can turn up any machinery that might be useful too. This is starting to feel like last year's field studies all up.
Oh. Shoot. think I remember this.
Welcome back, everyone. I've been waiting.
I knew it.
Like the rising of the sun.
I see how you're taking Reinford's side again, huh?
As long as I wear this uniform, you, the chairman and master.
Thanks, I think.
Of course.
Bring them in.
As you wish.
Mother, we need to see you.
Oh boy! She looks to be like, we need to talk in now.
Excuse us.
She was angry.
I apologize for canceling our dinner plans, but it's looking unlikely I'll be able to
No, that's fine. We understand.
It's hardly surprising given the current circumstance.
I'm not sure what's keeping you so busy, considering you haven't even managed to fulfill one of your most basic duties.
Get her.
My lady.
The miners who work at Saxon are employees of this company. With the Provincial Army barricading the mine and refusing to budge, those miners are at the... I assume you've issued a formal objection to Marquis Rogner?
Not on behalf of the company, no. It sounds like Director Heidel Rogner of the First Factory has requested something be done as a formality, but nothing more.
That's it? The First Factory has been dumping huge amounts of ore onto the black market for years now. Don't even try and tell me you haven't noticed.
Of course I've noticed. Being unable to bring the First Factory in line allowed that to happen, and that's my failure, I admit. But think, if we assume the terrorists aren't acting alone here, what good would it do to issue an objection to Marquis Rogner?
Well,
There are many possible outcomes to this crisis, and we must be prepared for all of them. We need to consider the possibility that the terrorists may set off an explosive in the mine, and how to respond. This is a global company. Measures will need to be put in place to protect stock prices, taking Crossbell into account.
She's got a point. Anything that affects the Reinford Company is going to indirectly affect a lot of...
Correct. The Reinford Group is its own entity with its own role to fill. And the Provincial Army and the RMP are acting in accordance with their purpose. And one might even say the same of the terrorists. Action with a purpose. That's what keeps the world in motion. So tell me, what's your purpose?
Well,
If you get what I'm saying, I suggest you leave.
Oh, I suggest you not be a bitch.
I expect the explosion at the military factory is the extent of the damage the terrorists will cause here.
Are you sure about that?
I'll give you several additional tasks. I suggest you work on those for the remainder of the day.
Excuse me?
And considering the situation here, I think it'd be best if you leave Ruhr tomorrow morning.
Again, excuse me?
You have my permission as a sitting director on the Academy's board.
But...
yeah, I don't think so.
You go, girl.
I'm not going to keep making the same mistakes and...
Oh?
All my life, I've turned a blind eye to what was going on right in front of me. I did it when you drove Grandfather out and took his position as chairman. And I did it when Father died and you let work become your life. All along, you've been working to build the company bigger and bigger, and all along, I just looked the other, but in our field studies at Thor's, I've seen the imbalances and injustices of the world crop up over and over again. But even with that, I, and all of us really, have to face that head on. And that's exactly what we've been doing. You asked what our purpose is. After 6 months at the Academy, that's my answer.
Well said.
Agreed.
That's why this time, I don't plan on backing down. You need to hear the truth, and I need to be the one to tell you. As your daughter, as your family, and above all, as someone who's watched the Rhineford Company grow ever since I was a little girl. Mother, you're running this company the wrong way.
You go, girl. You tell her.
My lady.
Shut up, Sharon. Shut up, Sharon.
Can I assume you, in your infinite wisdom, are planning to tell me the correct way to run my company?
Bitch.
Naturally. But I still need more experience before I can do that. I promise you, though, that by the time I graduate from the Academy, I'll show you how this company should be run. As someone who just might succeed you as the chairman someday, I should be able to do at least that much.
It's one thing to make a promise. It's quite another. Still, at least you're starting to see the bigger picture.
Mother.
Give it to her, Sharon.
Certainly. Here, my lady.
What's this? Some kind of key card?
Correct. It opens the door to a passage that connects Ruhr City to the iron mine.
Wait.
There's really a secret passage?
The former chairman built it for use
Yeah,
in
there's a
case of an
fucking
emergency.
door that I came
You'll
across
find an
there.
entrance in the underground part of a maintenance room on the upper level of the city.
If we use that pass,
We should be able to completely avoid having to deal with the Provincial Army.
I'm not going to say thanks. Right now, I just believe this is the best way to press forward. And I'm going to tell you why through actions, not words.
Excuse us, Madam Chair. We've learned a lot during our field studies, and we'll put it all to use to come out on top.
You don't need to worry about us.
They've grown a lot in the last 6 months. It's been a pleasure to watch them. Surely it wouldn't hurt to acknowledge that Lady Elisa has grown too.
She's still got a ways to go. If she wants to take the mantle of the Rhineford Company from me, she'll have to show me she's got what it takes. Anyway, it seems all our principal players have assembled. Can I ask you to do one more thing for?
Certainly.
Yeah, there's that fucking door. I called that shit. Oh, we're just gonna go right in? Going right into this bitch, aren't we? I need to go to bed, game. I don't. I'll leave it off and start this in the morning. Just straight shot, ain't it?
Who would have thought there'd be an underground passage going all the way from Ruhr to the mine? Gwen really does think of everything.
Oh, you know Elisa's grandfather?
I've heard you two got along famously back when he was still living in Ruhr.
He taught me all kinds of great stuff. How to pick up girls, the best spots
Oh,
in the
God.
entertainment district, you know, the really important things in life.
The really important thing in life.
It's not that I can't believe it, it's that I can. Too easily.
I can only hope to sit and learn at the feet of the master one day.
Oh my god.
Still, it's probably thanks to him that Angie didn't go any further off the rails than she did.
Can't deny that.
That's nothing to laugh about.
I wonder if we'll seem as colorful to the first years when we're second years.
So, you think this is gonna work?
That should do it.
What is this thing?
An orbital wave antenna?
It's currently in development at the Institute of Technology, but I managed to convince them to let me borrow it. It emits directional orbital waves to widen the area where you can transmit and receive signals. That means you'll be able to use your Arcus unit's communication functionality even down here in the mine.
That sounds pretty handy.
You can do that?
Yep. Toa is busy gathering information on what's going on across the Empire, and I'll be able to pass that info along to you while overseeing this operation. If things get too dangerous, I'll give you the order to pull out, so make sure you keep the line open.
Got it.
It'll be nice to have some support.
Well, if George is just a call away, we've got nothing to worry about.
Okay, I think it's about time we got going. And thanks again, everyone, for coming along. I've got my Arcus on me, so I should be able to hold my own in battle.
Always room for one more with...
Your knowledge of the mine will really be invaluable.
I'm looking forward to seeing you clean up with those Taito skills of yours.
Alright. G61. Okay. So, the thing is, who gets kicked out of the party? And it can be Ring. Okay, so... You know what, Crow? You know what the bad thing about it is? You are... she kinda outclasses you. Okay, since we're down here, I'm not gonna